This is the story of two friends and how they created something grand. They went off on a magnificent journey to an exotic paradise after one of them succeeded in an almost impossible task, and the two conspire to complete another one together. Alright, let me back up and reframe the story. Filmmakers George Lucas and Steven Spielberg went on a vacation to Hawaii after Lucas had just completed Star Wars. During the vacation, Spielberg admitted that he had always wanted to direct a James Bond type film, to which Lucas pitched something he would describe as being better. That idea would end up being Indiana Jones. I'm quite sure those who are watching this know of the plot to the first film, Raiders of the Lost Ark, but if you don't, I will quickly summarize. Indiana Jones is an archaeologist during World War II and is informed that the Nazis are after the legendary Ark of the Covenant, so that they can use its powers to win the war. So Indy, with the help of his former lover Marion, must get to the Ark first. There are a lot of great characters in the film, all of which are vastly unique from each other, but I mainly want to focus on two of them, Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood. Let's start with Marion. She's sarcastic, kind of crazy, but can hold her own in a fight, be it a physical one or even a battle of drinking. Speaking of which, I love the scene where she tries to outdrink the main villain Belloc. It shows her resourcefulness and quick thinking. She has a complicated relationship with Indy, being that she was hurt by him at one point, but throughout the film they begin to rekindle their past love for each other. And then there's the man himself, Indiana Jones. He's rugged, crafty, and someone with noble intentions. Indy is the modern-day archetype of what good adventurers should be like. Like the idea for Star Wars, the idea for Indiana Jones comes from the adventure serials that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg grew up with. There's also a dash of James Bond in there, which was one of the many inspirations for the character. Harrison does a fantastic job playing Jones. You can sense that this is an intelligent man who has seen some serious things in his day and has lived to tell the tale. Probably my favorite moment with him is the one a lot of people bring up, where he shoots the guy with the sword. Aside from the behind-the-scenes story that we all know, it just really fits well for Indy's character. Why would he waste all of his time fighting a guy when he could simply shoot him? I also enjoy the bar scene where a defeated Indiana meets up with his archaeology rival, Belloc. Belloc makes the point that he and Indiana are shadowy counterparts to each other. Whereas Belloc sells off his findings, Indiana wishes to preserve them for the betterment of science. Plus, Indy has a great line here. When Belloc comments that the Ark is a way to talk to God, a fed-up Indy says, quote, "You want to talk to God? Let's go see him together. I've got nothing better to do." Unquote. What a badass. Indiana Jones also has to come to terms with the supernatural, and even more so with his spirituality as the films progress. A lot of the themes in the series center on faith and belief, which sometimes contradicts the scientific method. It's cool that we have a character who is skeptical at first, is a man of sound logic, but then has to adapt when his ideas are put to the test. There's not a whole lot else to say that hasn't already been said. All I can add is that he's one of my favorite film protagonists. I love the personality, the actor, the wardrobe, the whole character. Indiana Jones, I tip my hat off to you, sir. There are many memorable action set pieces that stick out in my mind. The giant boulder, the fight at the bar, the brawl next to the airplane, and so many more. I love the atmosphere of the cave that Indy goes into at the beginning of the film. It's covered in cobwebs, spiders, even a corpse. While we're on the subject, let's talk about the reveal on Indy before he goes into the cave. It's probably one of the greatest character introductions I have ever seen. You don't see his face at first. His back is to the camera, and then one of his guides prepares to kill him, only for Indy to spin around, the whip to smack the gun out of the guide's hands, causing him to flee, and then Indy emerges from the shadows, right into frame, and there you have it, an iconic character reveal. Everything about this opening scene is perfection. The reveal, the cave, the action set piece with the boulder, it's genius and fun. And the music by the legend himself, John Williams. This might be in his top 3 best film scores. Adventurous, romantic, bombastic, and simply memorable. It's a masterpiece. And that's just for the Indiana Jones theme. The music for Cairo, the theme for the Ark. John Williams delivers a beautiful score and cements himself as the composer to go to. In terms of trivia, there's a lot of neat treats. For starters, George Lucas's dog was where the name Indiana came from. This real-life fact would be made into a joke in the third film, uttered by Indy's father, played by the renowned James Bond actor Sean Connery. Ironic, being Indy was based off James Bond. Another interesting note is that Indy was originally going to be named Indiana Smith, but Spielberg hated the name, so Lucas changed the last name to Jones, and then Steven was happy. The boulder was Spielberg's idea, and though it was made of fiberglass, it was reportedly still heavy and dangerous. George didn't want to use Harrison at first because Ford had already been in two of Lucas's films. In fact, the role of Indiana Jones almost went to actor Tom Selleck, but after Selleck had to leave the project, Spielberg convinced George that Harrison Ford was the man for the job, and the rest is history. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's one of the best things that Spielberg and Lucas ever created, with memorable music, iconic action set pieces, terrific filmmaking concepts, and an endearing character who is never boring to watch. I never get tired of watching this film and plan on making it a regular viewing for many years to come. So grab your satchel, your whip, your hat, and make your next movie viewing an adventure by putting on Raiders of the Lost Ark. Thanks. This is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M signing out.